All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our What is Plexus call tonight. I appreciate your time. We'll make this super short and sweet and simple and get you on your way. A little introduction from our screen. My name is Jessica. This is my husband, Josh. We have been married for 15 years and we also practice Western medicine and Eastern medicine. He is a nurse practitioner and I am a registered nurse, and together we advocate for health and wellness. And it wasn't until I became the patient that I learned about in nursing school that kind of put me on a path of Eastern approach and a holistic healing to find answers because Western medicine was failing me over and over and over again. About 7 years ago, I was diagnosed with celiac disease, and since then I have been gluten-free. But years and months leading up to my celiac diagnosis, I was struggling so much with different symptoms, physical, emotional, mental symptoms that I was being treated for. I was taking about 30 plus medications and being tossed to doctor to doctor. In fact, some of these doctors, both my husband and I work with and respect so much, but they couldn't find out what was wrong with me, even going dedicated gluten-free and really changing my lifestyle. I was doing celery juice. I was doing a really expensive probiotic. The people at Good Earth knew me by name because I was there all the time. I went to the Costco pharmacy every single week to get a refill on prescriptions. I was just really, really struggling. I was also struggling with infertility, a second trimester infant loss. And I got to a point where I was feeling hopeless. And as a nurse, we kind of have the nurse curse where we start to self-diagnose. My husband was starting to help me diagnose. And it got to a point where I finally started to change my approach because I knew that I wanted to feel better and I had to stop doing the same thing over and over again. That is the definition of insanity. So I got my last medical bill in the mail, which I paid $522 for. That doctor is a highly respected neurologist in our field, and he really just looked at me and said, "You're just a young mom who's tired, who has young kids. I want you to go home and take a nap." But little did he know I was already napping. I was already getting 8 hours of sleep. And I really did miss out on a lot of my kids' life, our family life, because mom was always sick. Mom was always at another doctor's appointment, sitting in another lobby room. I was also in a lot of medical debt because we met our out of pockets every year for what, like 6 or 7 years. And honestly, when I was diagnosed with celiac disease, I was celebrating because I finally had answers to why I was feeling crappy. And even 6 months after going gluten-free, very strict gluten-free, I still wasn't feeling my best self. So we switched our approach from Western medicine to Eastern medicine. And 7 years later, I am completely medication-free with the discretion of my doctor. I absolutely take zero medications. And the last time I saw a doctor for my immune health or for my autoimmune has been about 5 years. So investing in my wellness, yes, was a scary move. I was very skeptical. But if you have never dealt with autoimmune, chronic illness, anything down that route, it's way more expensive and it robs you of money, time, and energy that should be spent somewhere else. So before I turn the time over to Carly, Josh and I just kind of want to share for a few minutes why we stood behind these products from a medical perspective. We already knew Western medicine. We know it, we love it, but we both feel that we overuse it. A lot of doctors would just treat you more of as a number rather than a patient. You could look perfect on paper, which I did, but feel completely different symptom-wise. And that was me. I did look perfect on paper. I did look perfect on all the testing and lab work and unnecessary radiation testing that I had done. I looked perfect, but I didn't feel perfect. And so the reason why we stand behind these products, which we're going to learn about tonight, is they focus on the big things in your health. The small things are what make the changes, but I'm going to talk about the word big for a minute and why these products are so amazing. So the B in big stands for blood sugar balance. These products focus on blood sugar balance and insulin resistance. This is huge in your overall and hormone health. I want you to think of insulin being your master hormone. That is what Carly's going to talk about here in a minute of what the pink drink targets. When you can balance that insulin, the master hormone of your queen or king of your castle, all of the other hormones are going to start to balance and you're going to start to reflect and respond to good hormone balance. This is huge for someone that has autoimmune, chronic illness, can't sleep at night, maybe has high candida or high inflammation. you have to have good hormone balance. And the beautiful thing about gut health and focusing on gut health is the side effect is hormone balance. So people that maybe struggle with diabetes, PCOS, maybe a metabolic dysfunction, which by the way, 88% of the world literally has a metabolic dysfunction and doesn't even know that they have one. Um, Secondly, the I stands for inflammation. You can find anything tied to inflammation, poor sleep, migraines, headaches, inability to lose weight, unstable or unstable blood sugars. It is all tied to inflammation, which is also in parentheses, candida. We all have candida. We just have an overgrowth in candida, and we all need it. But we really do have an overgrowth in candida. And to feed that candida, it loves to eat sugar, dairy, gluten, wheat, all the foods that we find in our everyday diets. We do feed our candida without even realizing it. So I love that these products not only focus and break down candida, but it also helps lower and decrease your inflammation, which is tied to every symptom. You could Google any symptom with a tie to inflammation or candida overgrowth. And then the last letter, G, is for good gut health replacement. This is so crucial with these products, and why we stand behind it is to help support your good gut health bacteria. We have about 10 million times the cells in our gut than what make up the entire human body. So you have to remember, as we replenish those healthy cells and even damaged cells, it's going to take time. I had to remember when I was 31 years old, that's when I started these products. I had to remember that it took me 31 years to feel how I was feeling. And it wasn't going to happen overnight. It wasn't going to happen in a week. It was going to take time. I started to see the light bulbs turning on about 4 months into these products. And now I'm 7 years in, and I will look back and thank myself for not giving up on something that our bodies are meant to do. Our bodies are meant to thrive when we fuel it right. You're going to feel right when you fuel it right. So I'm going to pass the time over to Josh for a minute. He's going to just kind of give his a stand and what he sees in his everyday practice with patients, and then he'll turn the time over to Carly.
All right. First off, thank you so much for being here. Something, whether someone texted you or something in your mind said, I need to focus on my gut health. And you're not wrong. Everybody does. It doesn't matter if you think you're healthy, you don't have any ailments. I didn't have any gut health issues, and I take these products to do those three things that Jess talked about, especially chronic inflammation. Everybody is chronically inflamed. About 78% of the population is chronically inflamed, and you can't avoid it. The foods we eat can create an inflammatory response in our body, and you see it. You go to a doctor, you're having diarrhea and constipation, you have irritable bowel syndrome or colitis or anything with an itis at the end is just an inflammatory response or an inflammation that we have to deal with. And that's what I love about these products is they cut out that chronic inflammation. And that's what I see with my patients. My patients are all 65 or older and they are chronically inflamed. Now, a lot of it's wear and tear over time on their joints. But you can see that as they focus on their gut health, and I put a lot of my patients on a probiotic to try to help them to aid in their digestion, because they're subject to the foods just like us that they have to eat, and their bodies are starting to slow down. So while we're young, if we can prevent disease later on, we need to do it now. And that's by healthy eating, balancing our blood sugar, especially balancing our blood sugars. If those insulin levels are going off, even if your blood sugars are normal, insulin's still going in through your system. And if those blood sugars aren't getting to where they need to go, you have insulin resistance. And that's going to lead to a myriad of other symptoms and issues. So balancing that blood sugar, cutting out that inflammation, and good gut health, honestly, there's no three steps that we could take to have better gut health. And I've seen that in looking at all my patients saying, I've got one guy, he's 95, just turned 95, and he started taking a probiotic 30 years ago. And he told me, I've never been the same since. I started having good bowel movements every day, and I will never go off that probiotic. So it's so important, again, to put ourselves in a position where we can be successful. If we don't do that, there's a good chance in 5 years, maybe next year, we're just going to, inflammation will hit, and we'll be finding ourselves at a doctor's office where they're telling us, well, you're just a tired mom. Our body should work all the way up until our body decides to stop. Okay. That's all I gotta say. That Jess pretty much killed it. She did a great job. But just remember, your body needs to be fueled the right way. And if you can help it with supplementation because our foods are so depleted in this day and age, then do it. That's the best way to fuel our body the right way and make sure that it is going to work every day up until the very end.
Thank you, Josh. Okay, we're going to turn it over to Carly. Carly, are you ready?
Yes. Thank you so much. Yes, I love these products and I love what they've done for my health. I started them about 6 years ago, thanks to Jessica, who I didn't know her that well, but I just moved into this neighborhood that I live in now. She moved out, but we lived in the same neighborhood and we were at lunch at the kids' school, and I had always been really self-conscious because I don't eat gluten, but I don't have celiac disease. So I hated eating because I thought, well, people think I'm just, it's in my head and whatever. Now I have a gluten intolerance. But then she saw I wasn't eating gluten. We started talking about gluten-free foods, and I kind of told her just a little bit about what I'd struggled with. And the fact is, I had digestive issues for 14 years. They started when I was in college, and I just couldn't eat anything without being bloated. I was constipated all the time. My hair started falling out. I had dark circles under my eyes. I couldn't sleep. I would stay up almost all night, which for a college student, they usually do, but not because they can't sleep because they're unhealthy, because they're out partying. I was not. I was just not sleeping, and I just looked haggard all the time. Once I got married and I had my daughter, I just turned to sugar for all of my energy, quote unquote energy, right? It's like a peak and then a crash and the peak and crash. So it's just a vicious cycle. And I would be eating candy all the time. And I hated living like that. I hated having peppermint patties in my pocket in order to feel like I had the energy to play with my daughter. And then I have to go back to the pantry and get my hot tamales. It was a terrible way to live, but I had no other answers. I had been to 5 GI doctors over the time, and nobody could tell me anything except for IBS, which is what Josh said. But the frustrating thing was, I said, I know my bowel is irritable, but why is it irritable? Why am I struggling so bad? There has to be a reason, and I'm trying all the things and they're not working. And so fast forward then back to when I talked to Jess, and she had just asked me if I'd heard of Plexus. Never had. And luckily she had a little event similar to what we're doing right now, where she was just explaining to me about what she has found that works. And I was skeptical at first because I'd struggled for so long, and I thought, I would have surely heard about this, but I decided to try it anyways because I needed something. Even if it was something new, something different, I could not keep doing the same thing that was not working. So I very skeptically and a little bit scaredly, if that's a word, jumped on board, and I just pinch myself for how lucky I am that I did. I felt so much better pretty quickly. I was already eating gluten-free, low dairy, but it was amazing how I just saw my body just like shrink. Like Josh said, the inflammation is a silent killer. And even if you don't feel like you're look inflamed, it can be internal as well. So we all struggle with inflammation. And when my body was functioning better with these products, I was pooping better, I was sleeping better, I had more energy. I didn't take sugar to give myself a high because I didn't want that crash. I don't even crave sugar the same as I used to, and I just feel overall a lot better. And I know it's these products because as a system, they get to the root of your health and what you need. So I want to talk about the Slim drink, which I love. There's two different kinds, but they do pretty much the same thing. So our Hunger Control Slim has fiber in it. That's why it's called Hunger Control. If people need to lose weight, it's helpful because it has fiber, which makes you feel full longer. If you don't, I still love this because it's helpful for digestion, and it just really balances our body. It has chromium in it, which targets insulin and gives you a very natural insulin balance, which insulin is our master hormone that controls and trickles down to help all your other hormones. That includes things from like your cortisol, your happy hormone, your serotonin, your sleep. Those are developed, produced a ton, the biggest percentage in your gut. And this helps with that. When we have our insulin balanced, our blood sugar balanced, it really makes our bodies function the way that they need to. And having a sustained, healthy amount of energy is so underrated. Like you really don't understand what it's like to truly feel like you don't need naps, you don't crave sugar, you're happier, you don't feel that quick, like angry, hangry, if you know what that is. It's not a fun feeling. And when you are balanced in your insulins, it will help you improve your cholesterol levels as well. And it helps reduce the inflammation, like we talked about. Um, all the hormone control is so important for testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. It is just really something that we all need, whether you're diabetic or not. I was not diabetic. I started these products because I couldn't poop and I felt like crap and I was bloated all the time. And little did I know how much this would help me just with so many other things I did not know I needed. And I truly believe that these products can help us just in our whole overall health. And I want to, this microbiome drink is very similar. It does similar things. It has prebiotics in it. And what we need in life is our blood sugar balance, our inflammation being reduced, and our healthy gut. And this slim drink is an amazing product that will really help get your body to the place it really needs to be to prevent illness, to help with your symptoms, to really be the root of your health and not just a band-aid solution. That's what I was looking for. That's what I found and more. I just cannot rave enough about how amazing these products are and how much Slim truly will help with your overall health. I love it. Back to you, Jeff.
Sorry, I couldn't find the mute button. Thank you, Carly. I love that explanation. And I wanted to reiterate too, you guys, my 4-year-old drinks the pink drink every single day.
All the time.
He like will take ours and then he'll bring me his own packet. Like even today I was getting ready and he was like, "Mom, it's my pink drink." And he brought me his sippy cup that he drinks it from plus his pink drink. So I want to tell you it is safe for children. And my daughter, who also has celiac disease, has taken it and it's safe for children. So I just wanted to put that out there as well. Okay, Amy, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Way, babe.
Okay. That's funny that you mentioned that because my grandson is obsessed with the pink drink. Every morning when my son makes his, he has to have some. It's pretty cute. So he just saves a little bit for my grandson to enjoy. Hi, my name's Amy, and I didn't actually start the products for myself. My husband surprised me with the products. He started because he found out that they can help him with his type 2 diabetes. So he ordered for himself and for me so that I could help encourage him to get that new routine in place as we love to do for each other. And so I kind of didn't know what any of this was. I just went along and in reducing inflammation and balancing my gut, I am now enjoying a migraine-free life, which I never thought was possible, and also a restless leg-free life. I had some serious digestion issues as well. Yay, yes. But one of the big things, I would say the biggest thing that happened in my Plexus journey, I've been on the products for, golly, 5 years now. Time flies. I got that famous virus in 2020. It actually didn't get me till 2021. And I think I had some great support already, right, with my inflammation down, but this virus really sent my inflammation up and it triggered an autoimmune in me. And our family has a few autoimmunes. I have a son with Hashimoto's. That's the one that drinks his pink drink every day and then shares it with his little boy. I have 2 kids with type 1 diabetes, and they actually benefit quite a lot from this. In fact, I love to watch their CGMs because it does help balance their blood sugars. And they do use less insulin. Their A1Cs are better. My husband's A1C, he's almost in the fives. He's getting there, and it's really, really exciting. So his recent one was 6.1. But yeah, yeah, Josh. So I was hiking in Moab, and I had done the Delicate Arch hike a couple months before this particular trip, and I noticed my heart was crazy. And this was after I had that virus, so I went in and got checked. They did a lot of tests. I wore an EKG for a little bit. They had all these things. They even injected like something that made my body stress, and then tested my blood to see how my adrenals were doing. But at the end of it all, we found out that I had Graves' disease, which is a thyroid disorder, and autoimmune. And with Graves' disease came some yucky symptoms and some really miserable heart palpitations and just all kinds of things. So I got put on a few medications for it. All the while I was still doing my Plexus regimen. And in the next like few months of that journey, I really thought I'm actually kind of feeling better here. And a couple of the meds were not giving me some great side effects. One of them was itching. I don't know if anybody's ever dealt with a med that makes you itch, but it is a nightmare. So my pharmacist told me that it was safe to quit because I asked him if it was safe to quit. I know this, I'm one of those bad patients. But anyway, I went in and met with my thyroid specialist and they did lab work. And he said that my labs were improving. And that's when I confessed that one of the meds I wasn't actually even taking. And that caused some alarm. I was hoping he was going to tell me I was cured, but he said I actually do need to take the meds. And if I don't want to take meds like that, I need to look at having my thyroid removed and possibly just living the rest of my life on a synthetic thyroid medication. So he gave me a few options. He sent me home. And in 2 weeks, I decided to have thyroid surgery because I didn't want to suppress my immune system anymore. I didn't want to suppress my heart rate anymore. And it made the most sense to me to put a thyroid medication in instead of those other things. So I met with the surgeon. I did not know I had to tell my thyroid doctor that I'd made this decision. I don't know why. Anyway, again, I'm a bad patient, but the surgeon laughed at my appointment and he said, "You need to meet with your doctor." And thankfully, they were in the same physician's plaza. So I was able to leave, go to lunch, and come back and see my thyroid doctor and let him know, yes, I have a surgery date. Yes, I would like to have my thyroid out. This is the decision I've made. And he mentioned to me, we need to do lab work because your thyroid needs to be safe in a safe range to do the surgery. So they drew labs that day, and I left and I had to go get one of those virus swab tests because it was still back in that time, right? We're still in the all the protocols that came with that virus. And then I went home and then I went back to work the next day and I work at Costco. And the next afternoon, I'm walking out to my car after my shift at Costco and my phone rings and it's my thyroid specialist office. And the nurse tells me that my surgery is being canceled because my labs are normal. My labs are normal. And he had me come back the next week. And then I went 2 weeks. And then I went a month. And then 2 months. Then three. Then six. And now I just get checked every year. And you guys, I've been in remission for 3 years. So I am so thankful for the support. I'm so thankful for that systemic inflammation, that just root inflammation being taken down so our bodies can actually do what they were designed to do. We were made beautifully and wonderfully. And I feel like these products just support what we're supposed to be doing in life and how we're supposed to be feeling. And we can combat a lot of the stuff that's working against us to add to our inflammation and our poor health. We can really combat it with this. This is super powerful nutrition. And I'm so thankful that my husband bought it and just brought it home because it's changed everything. Anyway, I think we're going on to, is it Jessica? She's going to tell us about the probiotic and how amazing it is and our magnesium.
Yes, yay, so fun for that, Amy. Your story is so awesome. I love hearing all of it again. Okay. We with our pink drink, we like to pair it with the Bio Cleanse as well as our ProBio 5. And both of them work all three of them work as a partnership to be able to weed out the good or weed out the bad gut bacteria and bring in the good gut bacteria. Our Bio Cleanse alone has a really soft, gentle form of magnesium in it that's bioavailable for our bodies to digest and absorb nicely. We should be pooping between 2 to 3 times a day. So this gentle magnesium in the Bio Cleanse allows our body to absorb it and to poop. And if we're not, we're going to start working on that. And that was one of our first tasks because that will bring out all of the toxins. It will bring out all of the metals. It will bring down the inflammation in our bodies. And the Bio Cleanse allows our bowels to be hydrated, which is super nice. It is mixed with a vitamin C and it helps supports our hormone health. And then our ProBio 5 itself, it's freeze dried, which makes it really nice. We don't have to like refrigerate it. It is a delayed capsule. And then we are able to, our large intestine and our small intestine need some extra support. So this ProBio 5 gives us the 5 digestive enzymes that are or that are in it that help break down bacteria. It helps break down our Candida yeast, and it has a biofilm in it that is linked to like autoimmune. And so it helps our intestine to be able to break down the bacteria, bring in the good bacteria that our body needs, and allows our BioCleanse to move it out of our body. So those are a little bit about our two, our BioCleanse and our ProBio 5. Jess, am I missing anything else with that that's important that I need to be saying?
No, I think that is perfect. I was just
Okay.
reading Amy's comments though, and I have to agree with her. She put most comfortable tummy I've ever had with the BioCleanse, and I have to agree with her, especially as a celiac. If you are on this call and you are either gluten-free due to sensitivities or allergies, or even have celiac, and I know Carly is gluten-free and she doesn't even have celiac disease, my bloating before and after Plexus are two different worlds. Like I lost 2 pant sizes and it wasn't due to weight, it was due to inflammation and bloating. I poop every day, you guys, 3 times a day. If you are not pooping every single day, 2 to 3 times a day, you're not pooping enough. So be sure if you are taking medications and things that should be helping you poop and you're not, you're on the wrong thing. I love that the BioCleanse is super gentle, like Jessica was sharing. It's so gentle and bioavailable that your body can actually absorb it. It's not like you're gonna run to the bathroom and poop your pants. Like you're gonna have a good, healthy bowel movement. And then the probiotic, I swear by it. I call it the Holy Grail. I will not go on anything different from coming from a $90 a month probiotic from Good Earth to the probiotic I'm on now. I'm 7 years in and it will never change. So I just wanted to share that. But go ahead, Jess. Everything you shared was perfect.
Okay. Um, I think those are like the biggest things about it. It really has changed my life. I was not expecting any of this. I was super skeptical of the entire product, especially because I didn't know what to trust, but I also didn't feel good in my life either. And I wanted to feel normal and I wanted to feel like my happy-go-lucky self. So I'm excited for everybody who is on this gut health journey. We are here to hold your hand. We're here to make sure that you are supported and we can answer any questions, and then we're not going to leave you high and dry. So please reach out to all of us. And then I was going to say, whoever reached out, did I say that right? Whoever reached out to you, I'm going to have you guys reach back out to them, especially when you get your products. The day that it comes, say, hey, I'm ready to start mine. Let's get my regimen going. And then we're going to monitor you and make sure that you're taken care of in regards to your dosing for your body at that time, and we'll introduce you everything slowly, so that we're not overwhelming your body all at once, but that we can figure out what is going on and how we can help best support it at that time. So please ask all of the questions. And I think there you go. Jess is opening it up. Do we have any questions?
Yes, I was going to say, Melanie, I'm so glad you're here. Melanie asks, what does your diet need to look like in order for the products to be effective? Melanie, I love this question because we get this question often. Obviously, we live in a modern world and diet. There are foods that we want to eat, maybe can't eat. We recommend, and Josh can also piggyback on this, any diet that can keep your inflammation low, you're going to see faster and quicker results. I want you to think of a bowl of yeast. When you're letting that yeast rise with warm water, anytime you were to add sugar to it, and you can go do it, you can go do the science experiment and it will show to you that it works. But anytime you add sugar to it, that yeast is going to get more bubbly, more foamy, more inflamed. And so when you put Plexus products on top of it, it's a little harder to break down. So diet, I don't like to call it a diet because I want you to live your life. I still enjoy brownies, gluten-free brownies. I still enjoy ice cream. I am living a life with my kids and my family and socially, and I want that for people. So I don't love to call it a diet, but if you focus on foods that are whole nutrient foods and maybe a low, I don't know if you eat gluten or not, but gluten-free, dairy-free when you can, or sugar-free, you're going to see those results. But we at the Gluten-Free Expo, I don't know, Melanie, if you went to the expo or not, but I sampled all the treats. All the treats. I went around and sampled different treats and pancake syrups and breads, and I left feeling great. I didn't notice the bloating because my gut health is in such a great state with low inflammation, low candida. I actually don't crave a lot of sweets. I used to crave sweets. He used to eat all his patients' graham crackers, true story. And he doesn't anymore because our blood sugars are stable and our candida is controlled. So when you have stable blood sugar balance, a good insulin control, and low candida and inflammation, you're not going to crave the sweets. Did you want to add anything?
Yeah, try to avoid the highly processed foods and high sugars. If you can avoid those two things, I think you're doing pretty good. Again, we still have our snacks. It's okay to eat a snack and enjoy a treat. Like Plexus is here to help aid in the process of gut health so that you can enjoy a sweet every now and then and not feel like you're going to break your body for the next 3 days. But pay attention to what you do eat. If there are things you eat right now and you haven't started Plexus and you know it makes you feel terrible, as you start the Plexus journey, don't eat those things. And then after you've gone your 90 days and you're feeling amazing, you can introduce those things back in and just pay attention to how your body feels. There are things you're going to be able to eat, and there are going to be things that, like for Jess and everybody's, they don't eat gluten. So don't eat gluten, right? Plexus isn't going to heal a lot of that stuff, but if you're intolerant, you might be able to sneak it back in every now and then and not have side effects, or even go out to eat and not have a cross contamination hurt as bad as it used to. But the two main things I say try to avoid is just highly processed foods and big sugar intake. There's an app called the Yuka app that you can download for free, and you can scan products and it'll show you what kind of ingredients and additives are in there that we should avoid. I use it personally on everything I buy just to see if there's a better option out there. And so, yeah, just try to avoid those two big things.
Thank you, Melanie, for your question. That was
Great
awesome.
question.
Is there any other questions? Drinking a lot of water is very important. Amy said yes.
Absolutely. Stay hydrated.
If you're starting these products or want to start these products, our skin is the largest detoxifier and organ to detox toxins and candida, and sweating is really crucial. So even a 10-minute walk, if you can't get an hour workout in, is better than nothing, but also drinking water to help flush your system. We recommend half your body weight in ounces. So that doesn't mean go, your Dr. Pepper counts. We really want that water to help flush your kidneys, to flush your skin, to flush your digestive tract. It will help you poop. We want you pooping 2 to 3 times a day. And also pooping candida is a thing. You guys, I pooped white poop for like 2 days. And if you know me, you knew my tongue was coated white, and I was tested for candida and it came back negative, but my tongue was white. Question, what if you're not super good at drinking fluids?
Kaylee, that's a great question. One thing that you can do is that pink drink will help you drink some water. And then you can look into other healthy hydration ways to flavor your water. Let's be honest, water is bland, but it is the nectar of the gods. So getting that into your system, we've got to stay hydrated. So like Plexus has a hydrate drink that is great for anybody that's sweating to put electrolytes back into your system. They've got a good active drink as well. Ways to flavor your water to make it taste better and make you want to drink it more. But other than that, it just has to come down to finding ways to drink it. What makes you want to drink it more, right? Avoiding, and as you get that gut healthy, you might avoid the sodas a little bit more because those dehydrate you. They offset the osmolarity in your cells and in your interstitial fluid and things like that. So really trying to get that water and whatever it takes to get it to where you want to drink it.
You can
I
start.
agree with what Jess said too. That's what I was going to say. Buy yourself some fun water bottles and a couple of them. Buy like, spoil yourself. I would get like a bright pink sparkling one or some animal print. That's what I'm into. And I buy myself a lot of pink water bottles because I love having them. I have some at home. I have some up on my nightstand, I have some in the car. Like, just fill your area with water bottles that um the refillable normal water bottles, not the plastic ones, but the refillable ones. Cause I feel like if you try and Jess has one. If you try and just drink out of water glasses, I don't think people do it as effectively. But if you have a water bottle you just carry around with you, make it a fun, cute one, it will help. And these products really do help you just feel better to want to drink water, to want to eat healthier food, to want to exercise. Like, all of these things will help with that as well. But that would be my suggestion as well, like Jess said.
I love that, Carly. And to piggyback what Amy said, you can start small and get to the point that you're able to drink more and more. It does, you kind of have to work yourself up. And like Carly said, I take a mug everywhere with me and I try to get 3 of these in a day. So start small, give yourself grace, and as you continue to heal your microbiome, you'll crave more healthy foods and water. I used to drink 80 ounces of Dr. Pepper every single day. I was grabbing it like from the shelves like toilet paper back in 2020. I was the Dr. Pepper thief, and I no longer crave it. So, anyways, that's a great question.
And it's okay. We're not saying don't drink soda ever again. It's okay to go out to eat and drink a soda of choice. Like it's still fun to do that. But when you're relying on it heavily for energy or for your fluid intake, it's very hard on your body.
Yeah. So, okay, we only have a minute left, so we're going to wrap up this call. I do have this recording. If you want it, please reach out to the person that invited you here, and they can send you the recording. If you have a friend or family member that you think would benefit from this call, you can send them this call as well. And then I wanted to remind everyone, we do have some awesome expo deals still happening right now for September, but they end in 1 hour. If you want to get started with those deals, I haven't seen these deals in a few months, actually. They're trying to help kickstart the holidays when poor immune system is starting to happen. The parties, the Christmas parties, the Halloween. Yes, this is the perfect time to get started with a great deal. So reach out to the person that invited you here and say, I'm ready to start, and they will send you a link. Takes 5 minutes or less to order, and we'll help you get started. So, and then if you have any other questions, please sure to ask.
Ask those questions. Don't hesitate. There's no bad question. Promise.
I agree. Anyways, thank you so much for joining us tonight, you guys. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and we're excited to talk to you soon. Bye, guys.